what happens if Hamas refuses to put down its arms?
To be honest with you, Riley, I think we know what's going to happen if Hamas refuses to put down its arms. You played the soundbite from the president. I think he was pretty crystal clear. They are either going to disarm or they are going to be disarmed. Sort of like you can go peacefully into the night or you can go forcefully, like the easy way or the hard way. And the president has made it so very, very clear he doesn't want to do it the hard way. However, we do know that Hamas has still been somewhat militant since this ceasefire went into effect last in the last few days, Riley, right? We've seen reports saying that they've executed multiple people in public. They haven't publicly agreed to phase 2 quite yet, as it comes down to it, that the president isn't playing games. Those are his words. He's not playing games, and the show of force that he had at that peace summit in Egypt is also a key point, and it's a key leverage point that the president has against Hamas, along with threatening forceful actions to disarm them, right? Think about the block of Middle Eastern countries that were present in Egypt a couple of days ago, Riley, right? You have Oman, you have Iraq, you had Jordan, you had Kuwait, you had Pakistan, you had the Palestinian Authority, you had Qatar, you had the UAE, you had Saudi Arabia. He's showing that these block of countries, they have given the 20-point peace plan their stamp of approval, and they're sending a message to Hamas. It's either get with the program or pack your bags and hike out of here. Because the world is moving on. It's just a matter of, will you choose to move on with them, or do you need to be forced to move on? And that seems to be the big question.
So yes, that's what I want to follow up on, is President Trump making his resolve and his goal perfectly clear. Hamas will be disarmed. However, what I'm wondering is if we have any insight right now as to what steps the White House might be willing to take to make sure that happens if they refuse. Does that mean, more Israeli deployments into the region? Does that mean a military operation of some sort? I'm just trying to figure out exactly what that could mean if Hamas refuses to go along with the plan, which I suspect is certainly possible.
It's certainly within the realm of possibility, but that remains to be seen at this point in time. Right now, I think the president's focus at this point, Riley, is, okay, now you sort of laid out all the logistics. The Middle East is a very complex situation. There's a lot of different moving parts. You're going to have efforts to get Hamas to disarm. You're going to have efforts to get this technocratic, apolitical body to govern Gaza. You're going to have efforts to sort of set up this international board. They're going to be dealing with the Palestinian Authority, which needs to be reformed because ultimately they're the ones who are going to be governing Gaza. There's just a lot of different moving parts, and that's not even talking about the reconstruction of Gaza, because a lot of it's rubble at this point in time. So there's a lot of different moving parts, and listen, the expectation is that the White House is going to be very forceful when it comes to getting Hamas to disarm, but we're going to have to wait and see as to see whether or not Hamas will ultimately listen and what the White House will do in response. But all we have is that one little clip of President Trump, and he's emphasizing quite sternly that if they're not going to go along with the program, they're going to find out very, very, very forcefully, and they're going to be disarmed. And it's not an option. They're going to be disarmed one way or another. And the White House certainly is not playing games in regards to that, Riley.
Okay, I understand that. And I do appreciate that clarity and resolve from President Trump. Which brings me to my next question for you. As far as you're concerned, is the White House optimistic that this ongoing ceasefire in Gaza will hold?
Listen, I think he went out to the Middle East and he did something that very few presidents could have done, right? We saw the Biden administration, they couldn't free those 20 hostages. They were still there. The Biden administration couldn't have brought together all of these countries and ended this conflict. President Trump did. Through the sheer force of his will, his determination, and his personality, he pressed all of the right buttons, Riley. There wasn't a degree of separation between the United States and Israel, unlike the previous administration where you had the former president making offhanded critiques of what Israel was doing and needed to be done. But the president put the necessary pressure on Netanyahu to get with the peace program in a respectful yet forceful way that coerced the issue to an extent. He sprung free the hostages in one of the most emotional moments of the entire year, watching those 20 people emerge from the dark and starvation, reunited with their families for the first time in 2 years. The president got that done.